Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's team selection time. So in this video, I'll be going over how my team got on in game week 1, potential transfer options, and of course my team selection. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you've enjoyed it, and leave a comment down below, whether it's FPL related or just what you're having for dinner. Let me know in the comments and we'll get straight into the video. I ended the game week on 56 points in total. That takes me to a rank of 3.9 million. I mean, the rank obviously not very good, but I was really happy with the points. I'm glad I managed to get some returns. I had some big names that did blank, which I think is just a blip for the opening game week. There's nothing I'm massively concerned about. So I think 56 points is pretty good. We'll start off with defence. Sanchez, 8 points. I got so lucky with Eze's free kick being ruled out. That almost ruined my day. Not to be dramatic, but I saw the goal go in and I was like annoyed on two parts. One, it was a really good goal. There was no saving it. And two, clean sheet plus Chelsea being 1-0 down. Walked away. Didn't even see the fact that it then got ruled out by VAR. And it's a very rare time that I liked VAR. It's always nice when it falls on your side, isn't it? So 8 points for Sanchez, really decent. Neco Williams, that was a frustrating one. That Brentford penalty, just irritating, so irritating. And then what makes it a little bit worse? Neco Williams goes and gets a yellow card. Frustrating, so no clean sheet there for Forest, but at least there are so many Forest defence owners and some people had also doubled up in defence, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world, and Sanchez did cover me there. Only Aina actually got the DEFCON for Forest, which is funny because everyone was going on about Murillo and I was a bit worried not going from Lenkovic, but really there wasn't that much in it this game week. Minus yellow card, but we'll get over that one. So 1 point from Neco Williams. Then speaking of DEFCON in that match, Vandenberg, my joy, my pride and joy. Yeah, it was only a 3-pointer, but he managed to get DEFCON points, 14 defensive contributions, incredible stuff from the guy. So I was really pleased with that. Brentford do look terrible, and I don't see any clean sheets on the horizon anytime soon, which could be a bit of a concern. But if Vandenberg keeps getting those DEFCON, and also he's only 4.5 million, so you have to put it into context there. I have got 1.5 million in the bank, so maybe I should look at upgrading my defenders, but we'll get to that later. And then Porro, lovely, 6 points, really pleased with that. The midfield was very all or nothing for me this game week, so we'll start off with my captain. I was so relieved when Salah scored. Honestly, I wasn't very well when I was watching the game and the time was ticking on and it didn't look as though he was going to get anything. I did at one point think he was going to get DEFCON, which was absolutely insane. Didn't manage to, but did get close. And then when he scored towards the end, the emotions, I was absolutely overjoyed. This game, there is nothing like it, because why am I being so excited about the fact that Mo Salah has scored a goal? I love this game. I hate it as well, equal amounts, but probably mostly love. So that made me feel alive, which was good. 16 points. Did I expect more? Probably. I was probably expecting maybe a goal and bonus points or a goal and an assist or something, but I'm going to take the 8 points and run, because if that had been a blank on the opening game week, and especially with Salah's record of never blanking in the opening game week of a season, I would have been absolutely gutted. It would have been one of those things that falls into FPL history where everyone captained him, but I'm pleased that I just played it safe with Salah. I think the only other captaincy I would have considered is João Pedro, so 8 points is massive compared to 2. Then Reinders, what a guy. I'm really relieved about this one. He was a last minute transfer in for me. If you watched my team selection video, I did have Anderson and I thought I was going to stick with Anderson, but their bloody manager's comments put me off. I thought, no, Forest have got no attacking spirit left. This is the end. Don't bother going for Anderson. Then what happens? Bliven would brace. But yeah, I'm initially pleased with my choice, and especially as I don't have Haaland, so at least I've got that City attack coverage. Reinders came away with 1 goal and 1 assist. He had 3 shots, which is only second to Haaland himself, so again, looking really good for the future. And he also had more final third touches than any other City asset. And at his price point, that is such a steal. I think he could be one of those players at the end of the season where we look back and say, why was he so cheap? It's a shame about the yellow card, because that probably knocked him out of the bonus points, and I think he would have come away with bonus otherwise. But even so, 10 points from a midfielder, and again, at that cheap price point, stunning work, really pleased with that. Less pleased with Palmer. What to say? Again, I said it in my last video, Palmer was nowhere near my radar for FPL until the Club World Cup, where Chelsea became world champions. But we didn't see any of that from Palmer in the opening game week. So a little bit worried about that. And I think there's a game week 1 curse with Chelsea, because the last time that we didn't score in a home fixture was game week 1 of last season. So maybe that is one to remember for the opening fixture next season. don't bring in a Chelsea asset for that time, because it's a lot of money and torment, it feels like. They didn't play very well attacking wise. There was only one big chance created all game. And then the commentators did say that Palmer hasn't scored in a Premier League game since January, which again, maybe that's one where I was completely misguided by the Club World Cup, where we did become world champions. Gonna drag that one out for as long as I can. Frustrating. And then also frustrating, Rodgers. Where was that pre-season spirit? I thought as well, where he was out with an injury before and he was coming back, he was going to be alive and kicking, going strong. Unfortunately not. 3 points, fine. Then João Pedro, this is his first blank since joining Chelsea, because up until game week 1, he'd scored in 5 of 5 appearances. And if I was going to put money on a person in my team to get a return, I would have 100% said João Pedro. I was convinced. I wasn't 100% sure on Palmer, but João Pedro, I was convinced he was going to score. I'm so surprised nothing happened there. So that's a little bit worrying. I still think he's nailed. I won't use the term nailed, but I still think he's likely to be in our starting 11 anyway. Obviously, Delap did come on, but I think João Pedro has got that spot for now. We just need to see a bit more from him. And ideally, a blank game week will make him more determined for game week 2 to come away with something. But captaincy will be staying away from him for the foreseeable. Watkins, this is another disappointing one. I am annoyed at him blanking, but I feel fine about him. I still think he's one of the best assets to have in the game. His pre-season form was great, and Villa played Brentford this weekend, so we saw how Brentford got on last week. I'm sure there will be some goals there, and if Watkins and Rodgers can combine to get some attacking returns, then that will be a great investment in my team. Bowen, 2 points. What a poor performance by West Ham. Absolutely terrible. The reason I brought Bowen in was I thought they're playing against a newly promoted team. It's the opening game week of the season. They are going to absolutely annihilate them. And if anyone's going to have any involvement, it's going to be Bowen. Nothing. This is probably the one area of my team that I am worried about. And I think I should have thought more longer term with the assets instead of targeting that game week 1. But I honestly thought in that fixture, he was going to come away with a double-digit haul. So a little bit gutted, and I wasn't really planning to play him for game week 2 against Chelsea, but here we are. So West Ham just not looking strong at all, lost 3-0, main fixture I brought him in for. But after losing 3-0 against Sunderland, I think I might have to rethink this one. And also West Ham's next couple of fixtures aren't that great, where they go against Chelsea, Forest and Spurs. I don't know why I've got him on my team. Then on the bench, Dubravka played 90 minutes, all you can really ask for from such a cheap keeper. Josh King, 1 shot and 1 chance created. Nothing came from it, but even so, he's there, he's attacking. Only 4.5 million and he started. I can't think of much more that I would want from a 4.5 million attacker. So delighted that I brought him in. I'm looking for an opportunity to actually start him in 1 game week, because I think he will be decent. He could be the next Reinders, but cheaper and playing for a worse team. But still, at least then, it's a bit less expectations. Just 1 goal will get me through a couple of game weeks. Esteve, we've all seen the interview with him now, haven't we? Where he's found out how high his ownership is in FPL. I hope he knows what FPL is by now so that he can... Oh, I thought that was weird noises. You've thrown me off now, Kat. Anyway, he's great. And then Rodon, what is that all about? 7 points on my bench. He managed to come away with a clean sheet and 1 bonus. I never considered... Jesus. Where's he gone? He just disappeared into the abyss. I never even considered playing Rodon. Had him last on my bench, as you can see. I mean, that's great that I've got an asset that can do that. Would have been really good if I'd have started him. But in what world would I have started a Leeds defender over Vandenberg or Neco Williams? Wouldn't have happened. 7 points. Wild. So now let's have a very quick look into my transfer targets. I'm going to be quite laid back with these transfer targets because at the moment I don't want to make any hasty transfers. We've gotten a fair bit of information from game week 1, but not tons. And I think there are some assets that I might just knee-jerk myself into bringing them in, and then they won't actually be that good in future. So first up, we have got Chris Wood, my mighty, mighty Chris Wood. I've got a Chris Wood shirt upstairs, which I was tempted to bring down for this video, but I'm not going to because I'm a little bit upset that he's good again. Forest scored 1 goal in 7 matches all pre-season, and then Wood appears back in the Premier League and scores within 5 minutes. He managed to come away with 2 goals. So I think he definitely deserves to be back on our radar. Maybe last season wasn't a fluke. I mean, holding that up, he was in such good form for basically 38 game weeks. Did dip off a bit towards the end, but even so. And I know everyone was saying, oh, he's overperforming his data, but last year I really wanted to bring him in because he was doing well towards the end of the season before. So I brought him in early. And then this season, I don't think I had him really in any drafts. I didn't consider it whatsoever. So I think I might wait until game week 3 when they come up against West Ham. They've got Palace in game week 2, so I don't think it's worth me doing Bowen to Wood for this game week. But I think game week 3, if I do bring him in, will probably be the time. He's already had a price rise as well, I think. Might cut that out if he hasn't. But it would be nice to have a Forest attacker, and I think it might be a short-term punt because once they start playing in Europe, then I think they're going to get a bit busy and we're going to see more rotation. And they've also signed 2 new strikers, so maybe Wood isn't fully nailed or his minutes might get limited or something. So he's definitely on my radar. If it happens, it will happen in game week 3. And then they do have their back-to-back fixtures against promoted sides. So we will see on that one. But he is the number 1 target, I think, for now. Then we may as well talk about Anderson as well, if we're talking about Chris Wood. I'm pleased with my thought process behind my choice of going for Reinders. And I do think he's got the highest ceiling to Anderson. But I am slightly regretting just not filling that spot with a Forest attacker. Anderson's got multiple routes to points. He looks to be on corners as he took 4 out of the 5 in game week 1. So again, another one to watch. And he's at the cheaper price bracket too, so it won't be too hard to try and squeeze him into the team. Coming into Liverpool attackers, now I definitely think I either want someone else to complement Salah or take Salah out and then maybe look at investing in Haaland. This will be much later down the line strategy because I'm not sure what's happening with Liverpool, especially with the rumours about Isak. I don't feel like Isak is going to go to Liverpool, but I'm not sure. Go on Twitter and you see every opinion under the sun, so who knows. My biggest fear of missing out this game week was Wirtz. He was the most sold player of the game week, and I can just imagine him being most sold and then going on to have a massive haul this game week. It's always the way with FPL, or the most transferred in then goes on to blank. Typical. He accumulated 0.14 XG, which isn't great, and he played 81 minutes, so it's better than being dragged off at 60 minutes like we saw with some other players. I still think he's going to stay on my radar. I'm not ruling him out right now because when you see what he's actually capable of, it might have just been the opening fixture. Wasn't the one for him, but give him a bit of time to gel into the team. Things could improve. And then the other one that's standing out is Ekitike. For obvious reason, he's already had a price rise as well. 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 bonus points. Looking back, it seems like such an obvious pick. Why wouldn't you go for someone that's playing front and centre for Liverpool? And especially when I look at my team, I know there's a lot of people have gone for a 3-5-2 and then they're putting Mark Gui at this, in their front 3, so they've just got that person on the bench. For me, I decided to invest more heavily in that forward lineup, and I think, why didn't I go for Ekitike? But a lot of it was to do with the fact that I didn't know how I was going to get on. And Wirtz, completely, I was blindsided by him. I thought he was going to be the one that I would be jumping at getting in. And that's one of the reasons I left so much money in the bank so that I could get to him if needed. Anyway, luckily I can get to Ekitike if necessary. But like I said earlier, I'm a bit worried about the whole Isak transfer rumours thing that's going on. But I think I'll hold off on Liverpool attackers until that summer transfer deadline does close in game week 4. So that gives me another 2 game weeks to try and figure out who is going to be front and centre of the attack and whether or not I do want to invest in Haaland and drop Salah or get someone to go alongside him. And for now, everything is fine financially and I'll be able to roll transfers during that time as well. So I could have a really good rejig of the team. Arsenal is another one that I feel like I should really be considering their assets. But to be honest, their fixtures apart from this upcoming game week, and I'm not getting FOMO because last year I got FOMO, took -4 and it all went terribly wrong. So I'm fighting the urge to bring in Saka for anyone because the temptation was to do Palmer to Saka, but I don't think that's the best idea because Arsenal haven't got the most favourable fixtures currently. I think Gyökeres is one that I would have my eye on, but he played less than 16 minutes, which is a bit concerning. Saka again, probably the most sensible and safest choice, but it's a lot of money if he's not doing too well. I still really like the look of Declan Rice, and I think maybe in a couple of game weeks' time, he's going to be a bit more prominent in people's teams. But it's another wait and see, which is a really boring thing to say. And then they've also had Eze confirmed to be going over to Arsenal, which is absolutely hilarious for Spurs. I'm so sorry. How did they mess that one up? But with him joining Arsenal, I think, again, maybe see where he fits in the team, what effect it has on the rest of the squad, and then go from there. So a lot of this is wait and see. And it's not how I normally play this game as a manager. Normally I'm like, quick, grab them, like bring them in. Whereas we're taking it easy. We're going to accumulate transfers, got the money in the bank just in case anything mad happens, and then we'll go from there. Man United, another one that I should probably be considering, and especially game week 3 against Burnley. So this could be quite an early transfer. Fernandes is the obvious standout, even though I don't really want to bring him in. But he's got so many routes to points. He took both free kicks against Arsenal and 2 out of their 3 corners. And he's also a DEFCON monster. So again, and potential for clean sheet point as well. If I may be feeling brave, I could put the captaincy on him. Who knows? Then finally, Strand Larsen. Now, I was watching him and I cannot believe he didn't score. I was fully expecting it and fully expecting to be kicking myself for the fact that I didn't bring him into my team. But Wolves' fixtures look really good, especially from game week 5 to 9. But today, there has been, or I've read, a transfer rumour that apparently Newcastle are interested in him. So maybe that's another one to wait on, which disappoints me more because I want to bring Strand Larsen in. But Strand Larsen at Newcastle, whoa. That was a live reaction. Strand Larsen would love to bring in, but again, wait and see. So wasn't that all fun and slightly pointless because I'm just waiting and seeing, and this channel is just going to be boring because it'll probably be me waiting until the right moment, which I don't know when that will happen. Or I'll get fed up, have a really bad game week, and then just rip my team apart, take loads of hits, and bring in all of these players that have done well the preceding game week. So now, on that note, let's have a look at my team selection. 1.5 million in the bank, lots of flexibility there. In defence, I'm going to stick with what I went for last week, but I may bring in Ekitike instead of Van den Berg. I'm just worried about Brentford's defence, and I can't say I'm feeling too confident about it. It would be nice if you could pick up some DEFCON points. Obviously, that is very, very welcome. But Ekitike against Sunderland at home, surely that will be a better fixture than Van den Berg against Villa. And I think Villa, where they did have that quiet week, Villa have actually got a really good record against, Watkins has got a really good record against Brentford, but we'll get to that in a minute about captaincy. So maybe I will swap those two around. I'm also not making any changes in attack. I would love to take a risk on Josh King, but that would probably involve benching Bowen, and I'm being stubborn about Bowen. I need to get a return from him. He is playing against Chelsea and I've got Sanchez in goal. So if Bowen does score, there'll be a marginal part of me, I'm not going to lie, there'll be a marginal part of me that's happy because it's some FPL points. But the rest of me is going to be disappointed with losing the clean sheet for Sanchez. And then also if Chelsea are down, we're not going to be 1-0 down to West Ham, but hypothetically, if Chelsea can have a win, I don't know. There's no way that I can win in this actually because I would like to have the Sanchez clean sheet. Unless I play my good friend Dubravka, again, then I can take advantage of that Sunderland at home fixture. Probably won't do that. I think I'm going to bank back Sanchez getting a clean sheet against West Ham. I'm going to play Bowen. I don't really want to bench a player worth 8 million, but I also don't want to make an early transfer because I think I need a bit more information before I decide who's going to take that forward spot. And also, one of the things that I read about him last season, which is why I wanted to bring him in, he's not only talismanic for his team, but he didn't have any consecutive blanks since game week 15 last season. So I'm going to put that theory to the test and see if it will continue into this season. Because if he does get a return in game week 2, it will just soften the blow a bit. But is he going to get a return against Chelsea, the Club World Champions? Have I mentioned that before? But I think if he does blank against Chelsea, and there's a high chance because we're the greatest team in the world, it'll be a really easy transfer out and a lot of money to play around with. And I also want to get in on that before he potentially has a price drop because what's his ownership at? Oh, he's only in 13.5% of teams. That's a much lower ownership than I was expecting. I wonder how many times he'd been transferred out though because he was absolutely rubbish. I'm just looking here. XG accumulated 0.15, expected assists 0.05. I mean, it's not looking fab, is it? And then upcoming fixtures, Chelsea at home, Forest away, Spurs at home, Palace home, Everton away. There's nothing there that I like. I just got completely blinded by that opening fixture, which massively backfired with just 2 points. Just 2 points. Anyway, so I could bring in Josh King instead and play him. Long story short, they're playing at home. Fulham at home, Craven Cottage gets them going. So potentially could play him over Bowen, and that's a bit more of a fun punt. What's King's ownership at? 1.1%. Imagine if he got a brace. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. An assist would be fine, but even so, Josh King, 4.5 million, absolute hero if that happened. Against Manchester United, they did look decent. I know they lost, but they did look quite strong, and I fear them slightly this season. I won't lie. I think they've made some good signings. So maybe I won't go for King. I mean, I could go 4 at the back, but am I really going to play Estev over Bowen? Probably not. I prefer to back the attackers. In terms of captaincy, it's currently on Salah, but I'm tempted, very, very tempted by Ollie Watkins. Watkins has scored in his last 4 appearances against Brentford, and Brentford's conceded the most chance last week with 4 in total. They're just not looking that strong, are they? Except for Mighty Van Berg, who is the greatest player on earth. Well, one of, along with the rest of Chelsea, Club World Champions. But I'm trying to take it easy this season and not take as many risks, and I feel like Watkins is maybe a risk. Even though he had a really strong pre-season, yes, he blanked last game week, but who hasn't blanked in game week 1 at this rate? Apart from Salah, he always returns. And then with Salah playing Newcastle, it's going to be Newcastle playing in their home ground, which is a lively place to say the least. And I think, but then a Newcastle in a bit of disarray, especially with the loss of Isak. Do you see how many issues there are surrounding captaincy this week? I think I'm going to be boring, and I think I'll stick with Salah just because he's the best FPL asset ever. I haven't got Haaland, and I think there's a high chance that he will get a return. Liverpool's defence looks leaky, but their attack doesn't. Their attack does look really strong. The concern is the goals will be spread out again, and it won't necessarily be Salah there at the heart of it. But Salah does find a way to get involved. So I think Salah probably, if I was having fun and a wild time and maybe I had a better rank, I think I would risk Watkins, but I think I'm going to go for Salah. Because Brentford as well, after having such an embarrassing display, maybe they'll tighten up a bit. Maybe they won't. I'm not sure. So for now, captaincy is going to go on Salah. Let me know in the comments who you're planning to captain if you are taking a risk. In a dream world, I would have Saka and I'd captain him, or I'd have Haaland and I'd captain him. So actually, Salah's probably my 3rd favourite option, and then Watkins is my 4th. But I think I'm going to go for Salah, unless I'm having a wild Friday and think I'm going to take a risk, in which case I'll go Watkins, but most likely Salah. But follow me on Instagram. My handle is down below, and I'll post my team before the deadline. And what I decide on, who knows? But it'll be good this game week if I can get attacking returns from both my Chelsea assets and both my Villa assets. They are the key ones that I'm really, and whoever I captain. They're the key ones, because doubling up on attack, I don't do that lightly, and I believe in these players, and they've let me down so far, but Game week 2 is the one. So best of luck with your teams. Let me know in the comments how you are planning to use your transfers, if you're planning to roll. I quite like the start of the season because everyone just goes mad. You have people like me being really boring, then other people using their free hit, triple captain, bench boost, taking hits. It's crazy. Love it. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.